Okay, Brian McKenzie, Power Speed Endurance and CrossFit Endurance. Here we go. We're going to deal with the deadlift really quick, and there's a couple of scenarios here that will play out because people are built differently. Some of us are short torsoed, some of us are long torsoed. You need to find the most ideal position, okay? I went over the box squat earlier, and the same principles are going to apply here with the deadlift, where when we set up, obviously we're not going to, we don't need to set up as wide as we do with the squat, unless we're of course going to be going for a sumo deadlift, which is just fine. You can use if you'd like, but today we're just going to go over the traditional deadlift and why I like to use it with endurance athletes, because this can be coupled with the squat in a progression that you're going to do, okay? So typically getting the feet just below the hips is fine, okay? Varying it there, the better you get at deadlifting, the quicker and easier you know where your foot position is going to be, okay? Getting the setup correct first, so getting stabilization. I like to understand stabilization before I even start, okay? A lot of guys are going to, especially at the higher level, are going to set up top, and then they know what to do. They come down, they grab the bar, they rip it, set themselves, and then grip and rip, okay? This isn't, we're not going over that right now. What we're going over is learning how to actually stabilize correctly. And this is the benefits of the deadlift, is actually establishing this I think the deadlift is key for establishing this torso stability, getting the spine as stable as possible and understanding that. Not overextending and stabilizing, and not over flexing and stabilizing, but finding that good neutral position. And by doing that, turning the butt on, we squeeze the butt, pull the belly button in, set the shoulders, we go into anatomical position, or just let the hands spin out, squeeze the shoulders together, I anchor everything in, and I pull the hip back first. So I'm ordering up my hamstrings to load up, okay? And any other room that I can't typically find here, where I'm finding my limit right now, I can bring my knees slightly forward, but I like to come out. So I'm finding that tension out. With that, I set up a nice reverse grip. So I've got this reverse grip going on, right? And I set down. What I'm still maintaining is my torso stability, okay? And this weight should not be very heavy, because we want to start to understand this whole process from a stabilization standpoint and the ability to stabilize under load, and the fact that we're going to pick something up off the ground. So when I before I come up, I set those hamstrings, I'm in, I pretty much got a vertical shin here, okay? I'm still stable, and I stand through and follow through with my hip. So as I come up, I come straight up, and then I follow through with my hip as I come through. I've yet to give up my belly or my shoulders, okay? And that's key. And I come down in the exact same fashion, okay, that I went up in. Unless, of course, I'm working for max weight, which right now we shouldn't be doing. The idea is that I stay stable not only through this torso, but I'm not losing it through my hips and knees and feet as well, okay? This is key with the same thing we went over with the squat or the box squat, is that we continue to understand that stabilization through the hip, knee, and foot, where I'm learning to stabilize from this nice position here versus this medial collapse position here. We want to find weights that we're able to ingrain this process through, okay? So some of us who have longer legs, shorter torsos, are going to set in a higher position with the hip. So I'm up in a higher position, and my torso is in a more horizontal plane. We don't want to really be in a stiff-legged deadlift unless we're training for something for stiff-legged deadlift, okay? Or we're trying to use the stiff-legged deadlift to train something. Traditionally, we're looking for still some sort of an angle, but if I've got a longer torso and shorter legs, what we tend to see is, and I have to work for this, is where I get down lower with my hip and my torso's up higher. And the idea is that the hamstrings are still on and they're not loose, okay? So that knee coming forward will actually start to release tension on that hamstring, where we still want tension on that hamstring. And we still want to have that position of that foot, knee, and hip to where I'm stable in this really strong position here, and I'm not looking for tension in here, okay? So these are some of the fundamentals, things we like to do with endurance athletes and getting them to progress through this. Add this in to maybe a squat program that you're doing or a lifting protocol to help get rid of these problems that we're seeing within our running and cycling stuff, okay? Or whatever it is you're doing. Add it, lower weights, higher reps, never giving up the integrity of what it is you're doing. Once the integrity goes, that's where we start to stop, and you need to find this position. I would be doing this probably once or twice a week, maybe once with the deadlift, once with the squat. Traditionally, I don't like to really deadlift more than once a week if I'm deadlifting at all, because we're doing a lot of other varying exercises, but deadlifting once a week will actually help with that stability in understanding how to maintain that stable neutral spine even as we run or even as we ride. Because the fact is, as I come down, the better position I'm in, even if I'm riding a bike, is better than here where I'm rolled over, because I'm just giving away power and I have to work so much harder in a very asymptomatic way for that power that I really want, okay? So just some things to think about and implement. Have fun.